But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness in Ghana.
Shoot to kill Yamaza, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer. Pa, pa, pa. Shoot to kill Yamaza.
I sometimes can be a very negative little conky, very pessimistic indeed, very catastrophic. I saw President Ramaphosa recently boarding a plane to the US summit and I was a little content, to be honest. I was like, low-key, isn't he going to the same person who just accused him of being in charge of a racially charged genocide?
The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination.
I wonder how that will play out. Yes, despite my paranoia and the negativity, I only thought that the conversations were going to be awkward at best, forcing stories and pretending like they didn't harass each other over the media publicly.
We offer this question of the land. I don't know what Donald Trump has to do with South African land, because he's never been here. And he must keep his America. We will keep our South Africa.
We all do that as human beings, right? Like exes that bump into each other at a wedding and pretend like they care about how the other's life is going. But in this instance, my negativity was actually an underestimation of what actually happened. Like seriously, the stories are writing themselves at this point. This actually became a head-on confrontational collision of epic proportions. He actually kind of topped what he did to Zelensky, and I didn't even know that was possible.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you.
We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not?
These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers.
Have they told you where that?
I think in the history of the White House, there have never been a president who's this confrontational. That picture isn't even really from South Africa. It's from in Congo. Who is even feeding this guy all this information? I mean, of all the people they have fired at Doge, it's amazing that the president, South African consultant, still has his job. White farmers are sitting pretty in South Africa. Everyone knows that. They even said it themselves when Trump offered them those refugee asylums. So I don't know why he still feels like he needs to press this issue.
But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness in Ghana.
Shoot to kill Yamaza, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer. Pa, pa.
I know Malema kind of sounds bad in this video, but I swear this has to be out of context. Trust me, them white folks are just fine. South African EFF leader Julius Malema was definitely taken out of context here in that video they played in the White House. Yeah, we know the man is a radical, but one thing you never do is outright call for a white genocide publicly. He is all about land and not the people's lives. He respects the contribution of white South Africans as well as their nationality to the country. He just feels they own too much land in a predominantly native black nation. Again, which is a realistic grievance, because indeed white South Africans do own majority of the land even as a minority, and that's a fact. They are actually living privileged lives in this country. Again, which makes us wonder, who is even feeding this guy's ear? Elon? If it's him, then he hasn't visited Mzansi in a very long time indeed. Trump is ironically the one who always preaches about the quote-unquote fake news, and here he is just drinking his own potion here, or poison, or medicine, however you look at it, which made it even more hilarious when he ranted on about the terrible fake news on that very same meeting he was having with President Ramaphosa.
Terrible report. If they weren't fake news like this jerk, because they're all guys like that idiot, These are all white farmers that are being burned. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed.
Like I said, the jokes are just writing themselves at this point. This was upsetting because it was directed at the wrong target based on grossly false and fabricated information that was poorly researched. But I can't deny how hilarious it was. Ramaphosa trying to maintain his composure and diplomacy in the middle of the nastiest political ambushes in the history of the White House.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. I'm sorry I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. It's right behind you.
We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not?
If Trump did this to a real African tyrant like Paul Biya or those tyrants from Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria for murdering their own people, I would have rewatched it with some popcorn and Coca-Cola on the side. I really would have rooted for him. But we all know how those guys are treated, right? Yes, Ramaphosa does do some things I dislike, but this was definitely undeserved and unnecessary.